In a faraway land lived a kind sultan. He ruled with a gentle heart. His greatest joy was his beautiful garden. The garden was filled with colorful flowers and sweet-smelling plants. Birds sang in the trees. Butterflies danced in the breeze. It was a place of peace and beauty. One day, a traveler gifted the sultan a special date tree. This was no ordinary tree. It grew the sweetest, juiciest dates in the world. The sultan planted the tree in the center of his garden. Every day, he visited the tree. He watered it himself. He spoke to it in a gentle voice. The sultan dreamed of the day the tree would bear its fruit. He imagined sharing the delicious dates with his people. The sultan had 7 sons. He loved them all dearly, but he often felt disappointed with his youngest son. The youngest seemed quiet and shy. He preferred reading books to practicing sword fighting. The sultan worried that his son wasn't strong or brave enough. One day, the sultan called all his sons together. "My sons," he announced, "the date tree is about to bear fruit." The sons gasped. They had heard stories about these magical dates. "I need each of you to guard the tree," the sultan continued. "Each of you will take one night to protect it from thieves and animals." The eldest son was eager to prove himself. He was strong and confident. He took his sword and stood guard under the date tree. The night was long and dark. The eldest son grew bored. He started to daydream about becoming a great warrior. He didn't notice the shadows moving in the darkness. Suddenly, a group of monkeys swung down from the tree. They snatched the dates and disappeared into the night. The eldest son was devastated. He returned to the palace, ashamed to face his father. One by one, each son took his turn guarding the tree. Each son faced a different challenge. The second son fell asleep on duty. A sly fox crept in and stole some dates. The third son was scared of the dark. He ran back to the palace at the first sound of an owl. Each morning the sultan discovered fewer dates on the tree. He grew more and more worried. His sons were strong and brave, but they lacked focus and determination. Finally, it was the youngest son's turn. The other brothers laughed. "How can you possibly guard the tree?" they teased. "You are too small and timid." The youngest son ignored their taunts. He went to the library. He read about the habits of animals. He studied the stars to tell time. He prepared himself for the challenge. As the sun began to set, the youngest son gathered his things. He took a warm blanket, a book of stories, and a small bag of pebbles. He sat beneath the date tree and looked up at the sky. The stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet cloth. The youngest son felt a sense of peace. He knew he had a plan. He wasn't afraid. The night was silent, except for the chirping of crickets. Suddenly, the youngest son heard a rustling sound. He peeked out from under his blanket. A group of monkeys were approaching the tree. The youngest son smiled. He took out his bag of pebbles and started to tell a story in a loud voice. He threw the pebbles one by one into the air. Each pebble made a whooshing sound as it flew through the air. The monkeys stopped in their tracks. They had never heard such strange and wonderful sounds. They were mesmerized by the young prince's stories. All night long, the youngest son kept the monkeys entertained. He told them stories about brave heroes and magical creatures. The monkeys listened intently, completely forgetting about the dates. As dawn approached, the monkeys slowly retreated to their nests. The youngest son watched them go, a contented smile on his face. When the sultan arrived, he was astonished to find the date tree laden with fruit. He embraced his youngest son with pride. "My son," he said, "you have shown great wisdom and courage. You are not only brave, but you are also clever and resourceful. I am truly proud of you." From that day forward, the sultan treated his youngest son with newfound respect. He realized that true strength came not just from physical prowess, but also from intelligence, perseverance, and a kind heart. The youngest son's bravery and cleverness saved the sultan's precious dates and earned him his father's love and admiration.